What is going on, guys? My name is Easta and welcome to episode 1 of the history of LEGO. In today's video, we will be going over the beginnings of the company and how it came to be, starting in 1891 and ending in 1949. As the series goes on, there might be one video per year, but for the start of this company, I decided to make it a larger time period because there was less going on year by year. Ole Kirk Christiansen, who was the founder of LEGO, was born in 1891 in Billund, Denmark. His father owned a woodworking shop called the Billund Woodworking and Carpenters Shop, which was started in 1895. In 1916, at the age of 25, Ole Kirk purchased his first ever wood shop, and he made things such as ladders and furniture. This lasted for about 8 years until 1924, when two of his sons were playing around with some wood shavings near the fireplace of the shop, and they caught on fire, burning down the entire wood shop. He would eventually build a larger one, which would rent out most of the space, and using the rest for his own shop in 1924. For the next decade or so, Ole Kirk continued to produce wooden products. However, he fell upon some hard times starting in 1929 with the Great Depression in the United States, which would go on to affect the entire world, and in 1932 his shop nearly went bankrupt due to the Depression because people just didn't have as much money to buy commodities such as wooden products. He had to go to making smaller things that were cheap and less expensive for people to purchase, so he decided to start making toys. Also during this time, his wife sadly passed away, which struck him with grief. By the end of 1932, Ole Kirk had completely transitioned into making wooden toys. These are some of the earliest designs of his that I could find, and the currently most expensive and desirable of his original wooden products is a duck, which LEGO has even since made a set of in the modern day. Speaking of that duck, hey, here it is. Anyways, in 1934, Ole Kirk finally canned the term LEGO, which is a conjunction of the phrase leg godt, which is Danish, and that means play well. Anyways, it also means I assemble in Latin, which is a coincidence apparently, and Ole Kirk continued to make wooden toys throughout this time. By the time 1942 rolled around, Ole Kirk had become an expert at creating wooden toys and had been doing it for about a decade. However, things got rough when the Nazis occupied Denmark in the 40s, and there was another fire at his factory which caused them to force to rebuild. In 1946, the company had almost 50 employees, and Ole Kirk made a gamble by purchasing the first ever plastic molding machine in the country of Denmark. The company started manufacturing plastic toys, which was very weird to a lot of people at that time because wood and metal toys were definitely the standard. However, Ole Kirk saw something in the plastic material and decided to continue making them. So in post-war Denmark, there was actually a ban on producing plastic products until 1947 because the economy wanted to focus on things made with more useful materials because, again, like I said earlier, plastic was a relatively new thing at the time and wasn't as widespread as it is today. Anyways, in 1947, Ole Kirk got a sample of a new type of plastic building block called Kittycraft, where it was a British company and they sent him some samples for free, and he ended up inspiring his interlocking design after theirs. There has been some controversy since then about whether Ole Kirk technically copied them or not. However, it doesn't really matter because the Kirk Christiansen family ended up purchasing them out in 1981. Finally, in 1949, Ole Kirk started producing and selling the automatic binding brick because the ban on plastic was lifted by this time and he was in a comfortable position to start producing and selling this. He was still producing wooden toys at this time, however, he transitioned more and more into plastic as the years went on. These bricks were not the same as LEGO bricks are today, and they had a bit of a different design to them, where gravity was not so kind to them and you could push it over and it would just topple. Anyways, he would perfect the design over the years. There would be 2 more iterations before we got to what we get to today, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. So anyways, what you guys see on screen is the first ever LEGO set technically, where it does have plastic bricks, although it isn't the same system that we now use. So anyways, guys, I think that just about sums up the beginnings of the LEGO Corporation. I can't wait to make more videos about the history of LEGO because they are my favorite company in the world, and I really like talking about history of pretty much anything in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if there was anything I left out for the years between 1891 and 1949 for the history of the LEGO group, be sure to leave it in the comments section down below if people want to get any additional information. Thank you guys so much for watching, and on the next episode, I'm going to be talking about the 1950s and how that affected the LEGO company. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you later. Easta out.